touch the chain, even if I want to realign. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off about the same mistake. Darling, where you going? It won't be as simple for you.
We're live. We're here. Yo, guys, apologies. There were some technical issues before we went live. Yo, guys. Old Man G here. RDS back again for another Versus episode. I'm joined by Mike Talks Football. Mike, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. Enjoying the summer while it lasts here in Finland because before I know it, there will be 2 feet of snow and it will be -10. And I gotta get my winter jackets out. So just enjoying the summer while I can.
I was gonna say, like, if we worry about winter here, like, I mean, you guys, it must get darker and colder a lot quicker than it does here, you know. So, loving the Brazilian top as well. By the way, I assume that's quite apt for the debate that we're going to have.
Exactly. But this is not the good Brazil jersey because it's 7-1.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I think R9 Ronaldo would probably been quite ashamed of what happened.
Yes.
You know, I think if you saw it, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. One of the worst performances I've ever seen in a knockout stage competition from the team.
No, that is the worst.
It's got to be worse though. Maybe that's another idea. Worst knockout performances in the World Cup. Maybe that's a video series.
Yeah,
because there's got to be. But you're right. There's nothing that comes.
The only thing that can come to comparison is Barca 8-2. That's it.
Yes, Barca
because
8-2.
of the capitulation of it all was just bad. I mean, it's bad, but yeah.
In one game,
R9 would not be happy.
No, he wouldn't.
And he was doing commentary for that game as well. You know that.
Yes, he was.
He saw his own record broken as well in that game. Oh,
the only positive of that game really was the fact that, like, Argentina didn't go on to win the. So it's weird because Germany spanked them, but then they were like, the Brazilians were supporting Germany in the final because they didn't want their rivals. So it's like, I can't remember when that ever being a thing where a team supports another team that spanked them to win because they don't want their rivals to. Yeah.
Never.
It was a weird sort of feeling, you know. So you saw the stadium erupt when Argentina didn't win it, and when Messi wasn't able to cement his legacy.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. First things first. Let's look at actually impact and the impact that you think that, because in my case for CR7, CR7 has obviously had quite a long career, but I'll let you go first. Like, how would you describe the impact that R9, you know, old school Ronaldo actually had, you know, on the game, on his team, etc.?
Well, this is kind of difficult for R9 because he was just excellent and by far the best player in the world when he was 19, 20, 21. And that's pretty much his impact on football because after that, the injuries just destroyed his career. Absolutely destroyed it. So if I have to give what his impact is on football, I just think he brought the ability to dribble with speed. We have never seen that. I don't think anybody saw that before in football. No. Yes, you know, Maradona and Pele were good at dribbling, but the speed at which Ronaldo came out at defenders, the dribbling, the skills, just the joyfulness he played with football was absolutely amazing to watch. And obviously, you know, I didn't get to see him live a lot. I unfortunately got to see him live at AC Milan in the late days of Real Madrid. I didn't see him at obviously Barcelona or Inter Milan or PSV, but I mean, watching YouTube highlights, and I've watched countless and countless, the impact of just, I think he was like one of the first people to come with dribbling with speed. Yes, obviously CR7 came with that as well, but
Yeah.
Ronaldo was the first guy to do that. So
Yeah.
other than that, like, what was his? What other impact did he have on football? Maybe, just the joyfulness. That's all I can pretty much say.
The
Because
joyfulness, the
other than
smile.
that, the smile exactly. Other than that, he didn't have a long lasting impact on football after his
Mm,
career, and everybody
mm,
just talks about what if and the amazing ability this
mm,
guy had.
mm. I mean, and I think that's the key here. Why I think that CR7 can outshadow, and outperform R9 in this area of impact for the
Hmm.
main reason that CR7's career has spanned. I mean, he obviously came from Sporting Lisbon when he was around about 17, 18 years old.
Hmm.
Um, he had almost like a 5-6 career season at Manchester United, and then obviously an almost 10-year season at Real Madrid, followed by Juventus, and now obviously Manchester United. So his career spanned almost 2 decades playing at the highest level, playing I mean, since I think this season will be the first time he wouldn't be involved in Champions League football, being a first in
That's
big football.
crazy.
So that's absolutely insane. The man is turning 38 soon, and he's always been playing in the Champions League. So that level of consistency that CR7 brings is something that just football had never ever seen before him and Messi. But we are
Yeah.
talking about Ronaldo here. It you've never seen that before. By 30 years old, in the case of our man CR9, R9, love the guy, but Belly comes out. It's time. It's Brazilian. It's the Brazilian time.
Exactly. Neymar's gonna have that soon.
It's Neymar is like, listen, I had my thing. It was cool. It was fine. But at the end of the day, I'm cool. I'm
I'll say
cool.
this though. R9's impact on the World Cup specifically,
Hmm.
everlasting. Had the goal scoring record until in his own backyard, Miroslav Klose came in and scored the goals. But I mean, R9, 2002 World Cup, I would say top three greatest individual performances throughout the whole World Cup, not just in one game, throughout the whole World Cup, scored in every stage of the competition, barring I think against England. That was the only game he didn't score in. Every other game he scored. So I think his impact on the World Cup and also having two Copa Americas, that's everlasting, no doubt about that. And he scored in both of those Copa America finals.
No, I think that. I mean, I don't debate or deny that R9 definitely internationally, and for his country has had like a greater impact than CR7 had. I mean, I guess my argument against that would simply be the fact that I do think that R9 played in some fantastic teams.
Oh yeah,
He was obviously important, very important. I'm not going to lie. So, but those Brazilian teams that R9 played in were absolutely incredible. Um, and it's not that Ronaldo's played in crappy teams, but I don't think you could ever put any Portuguese team in the last, well, I don't know, ever alongside any of
yeah,
those
no.
Brazilian those early those 90s or like 2000s or even going before that 80s 70s. Like I can't think of a Brazilian team. You could probably only think recently in the last maybe 5 years, and they've still got a brick manager. Possibly though that those players could maybe be put alongside some of the special Brazilian teams, well, but that's a stretch in of itself.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, look, and he was the only goal scorer for them in the semifinals and final, and he
Mm,
showed up. I don't,
mm,
obviously the team was ridiculous. I'm not disputing that, but he
mm,
showed up. He didn't have to rely on others to carry him. He carried them in those big moments, and against Turkey especially. I mean, it's just a toe poking and went in. I mean,
mm,
one of the most horrible finishes, but yet it was so brilliant at the
mm,
same time.
No, I mean, just like I just don't think that. I think for all the hate Ronaldo gets, that I don't think people really appreciate because he's been around for so long. Almost or more than 2 decades at this point. I don't think people really appreciate how consistent he has been and how that has affected how that consistency itself has affected football because it raised the bar. It raised the bar, so now people generally think that you can continue playing football well into your 30s is the first thing. But two, Um, the the fact that obviously he keeps himself fit, so because I'm not saying it was all the time, but there was certainly still before Ronaldo still a culture where players would almost destroy their bodies while they were playing, and then when they got to a certain age, it was like right, they were done. I don't think I've seen anyone as meticulous about their body as R9. And yes, he gets made R7, sorry, and yes, he gets made fun of about it. But at the end of the day, there's a reason why he's still playing at 37 versus some other players who didn't care, and now they're struggling.
Because let's be honest, I mean R9, he was pretty much done by 30.
Yeah.
That's like you compare the two players like Ronaldo, CR7. I keep getting confused with these two. CR7 was
Ronaldo.
Yeah, exactly. CR7, the guy is just an absolute machine. Yes, he was able to evolve with his play and keeping his body in that sort of condition at 35, 34. If people think it's easy and you just have money, okay, yeah, cool, it's easy and you have money. It's about dedication and motivation, and that's what CR7 has. He wants to just be the best ever, and he doesn't care how he does it, where he does it. He just wants to be the best, and I can't say the same about R9. I think R9 was just happy to enjoy life, play football, and then do things off the field. I mean, you can't blame him. He's Brazilian, but that just shows the mentality of these two players, and no doubt about that. I mean, CR7 will have a greater impact on football forever compared to R9. I think R9 just has that short little legacy compared to CR7 being the greatest ever Champions League player when R9 wasn't the greatest Champions League player. Shall we just say that?
Yes. There's certain people that don't seem to accept the fact that R9 never really won a Champions League. That doesn't mean
he did. He kind of did. Not really, but kind of. 06-07 with Milan.
Yeah.
he wasn't registered for the squad because he's in mid-season.
I'd even have given to him if he'd been registered, but it's like,
it's like Hazard.
Yeah. Hazard was registered for the squad, wasn't he?
Yeah. But he wasn't like he didn't have an impact on winning the Champions League. Yeah.
Chainsaw, shout out Michael and his football knowledge. Thank you, Chainsaw Body. Really appreciate it. And says CR7 got 800 plus goals and 200 plus assists. I mean, that kind of feeds into my point about the consistency at the highest level, like always being consistent. I just don't think you're ever going to get a player like that. Yes, I know people talking about Mbappe and Haaland and all the next big things, but the question is not whether those players are talented, because I don't necessarily think that, and we'll probably get onto this later, whether that's CR7's most talented footballer, but he achieved level of consistency that not many footballers do. And even if Mbappe has, an amazing season next season, possibly maybe the next, how do you know whether he's going to have that for another 10, 12 years? What's going to happen when he doesn't have his pace anymore? CR7 dribbled, world-class through balls, great link of play, incredible crossing ability, not to mention his headering and right foot, left foot. In his prime, yeah. I would definitely agree with that. Probably before Mourinho turned him to an outright forward goal scorer. So, but yeah, no, definitely. So are we gonna say this is round 1 to CR7?
Yeah, well, no doubt about that. This is like 6-love in tennis. He got this one.
Let's go to ability.
Okay.
Ability. Maybe this is going to be interesting. So because I'll let you take.
You go first. I went first last time. You go first.
Okay. Peak. Late United Ronaldo and early Madrid Ronaldo. I don't think you can. I think there's one season. I think his greatest season in the Premier League. He scored 40 goals in all competitions. That I think was 2000 and I think that was the 2007-8 season. 2007 or 2008-9. I've got to double check that. Obviously, in fact, I'll probably bring up Shainsaw's comment actually. He dribbled. He did play world-class through balls. He had great link-up play. His free-kicking ability at that time was solid. CR7 as a winger at that time, especially in 2008, 2009 to 2010, 2011, was just unplayable. And obviously, as we said, his mentality playing the game was you know, fantastic. Like people are relying on this dude to score goals and to make things happen. So, you know, there's no doubt about that. But even I can admit that, you know, he would get things wrong. I wouldn't say he was the best. I'd probably even rate David Beckham overall being a better free kick specialist than CR7. Sometimes his dribbling, while good, would often lead him to nowhere. And I think as soon as he switched to being outright kind of number 9, I don't think he necessarily created as many chances as he did as a winger, as you would expect, because he's obviously now a forward. And yeah, I still think he has superb ability, but I think that there was almost like a peak period, probably between 2006 to 2012, 13, when that ability was there in terms of his
RDS. Let me just ask you a question. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt you. What age was he when he was at his peak?
It's difficult, man, because you can't ignore the Real Madrid three-peats. He was definitely important, crucial there. But I also think that with that, you had Modric, you had Bale, you had Benzema, who contributed equally to it. I would say that because he left. When did he leave Manchester United?
2009.
9,
Yeah.
and he joined United in 2005.
5?
Four,
Okay.
I think, yeah, at 18. So let me do the math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would say, yeah, 20. So from about probably 22, 23 to about the thing. Okay, I'll push back here. The thing with CR7 is I think that he had almost like 2 peaks. His peak is like a winger, which I might say from about 22 to about 26, maybe 27-ish. But let's say 26 for argument's sake. And then his peak as like a forward, an outright forward, which you could maybe argue that was between maybe 28 to 29. Let's say 29 to about 33. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. What? Because the thing I want to talk about is Ronaldo. I think he had the ability, but he also worked his ass off to get to this level of the dribbling, the free kicks, and everything. Just working hard.
Yeah.
Natural, God-given talent. R9 wins this every single day. You saw it at 18 and 19 years old at PSV and Barcelona, and then the next season at Inter. The guy was unplayable. Nobody could stop him. Yeah. Dribbling, his shooting, left foot, right foot, the most complete striker we will ever see. Yes, he could have been a bit taller and his heading could have been better, but I mean, once he got into tight spaces, you could not, unless you actually two-footed him, that's the only way you would get the ball or get a foul. Nobody could stop R9 at his age, and that was the ability that he had. I've read a lot of books about him and stuff like that. A lot of people were talking about him at 15 and 16 at Cruzeiro, because I mean they have not seen this sort of player. Like when we always talk about like Brazilians and young age like Neymar Santos, and they're like, oh my God, this could be the next thing. R9 was that guy at Cruzeiro, and I think at even a higher level than Neymar. Yes, Neymar got more now notoriety because of YouTube and this sort of stuff, but I mean R9, the ability this guy had. I think Ronaldo had to work hard, and he had the ability as well, but he worked hard. R9, while yes, he didn't work the hardest, I mean, he just had it from the get-go, and he just knew that he could do anything special in any moment, and he showed that at a young age, and it just really frustrates me when think about his career. If he just didn't have those injuries, what would he have been like at 25, 26, and 27? But also we can think about the explosiveness that he had. You're a doctor, RDS. He tore his kneecap.
Yeah.
They said his kneecap was found in the upper thigh.
Wow.
That's how bad. That's the doctor said that is the worst injury he has ever seen. And that his kneecap, I think afterwards, was like a size of a football. That's how bad his injury was. But I'm sorry. I'm not disputing. You know, CR7 is one of the greatest players ever, and ability-wise is great. R9 was just different gravy, absolutely different gravy, and also he could take free kicks. I don't think, obviously, not to the extent I would say as great as CR7, but
CR7,
his free kicks were still good.
Yeah. It's difficult to beat that, guys. I mean, Eddie says original Ronaldo cut short injury really does handicap this debate. Good luck, Michael. I assume you are defending the original. R9 couldn't do it all compared to CR7, says Chainsaw disagrees. Hey Chainsaw, you good? Sorry. Yep. Chainsaw says 2011, 2013 is peak CR7. I definitely think that's part of his peak. I would still put in his latter time at Manchester United being there, especially his 40 goal a season.
The 07-08 season?
Yes.
Yeah, he was special that season.
He was special there. He was very special. Mike Lester, this is not a debate. Brazilian Ronaldo was a step above. Fair enough. Since I don't get it, R9 had stinkers and wasn't great on the ball a lot of the games in his peak. Okay. R9 had a couple of good games.
Okay.
There's no Michael. CR7 has more talent in his pinky compared to R9. This is just to clarify one thing. This is Chainsaw, not Jigsaw, right? And I'm defending CR7, but I just want to make sure that this is definitely Chainsaw, not Jigsaw, because I know they're two different entities here. You know, so sometimes Jigsaw goes masquerading as Chainsaw. United Matters channel. I see that. Like, shout out to you, man. Hope you're doing well. Make sure he's popping up on his channel, man. He's doing a lot of good live streams, man. My African brother, man. So please head over to his channel, man, and support him. It goes a long way. And also Michael's and Eddie's. But we're doing channel shout outs at the end, actually. If Ronaldo didn't get injured, then he probably would have surpassed Pele's goals. That's an interesting question. Would he have surpassed
for international or for his whole career?
Let's say international.
Oh, yeah, he probably would have. I think so. Yep. Because remember, he missed 2000 to 2002. He missed that call. Do you know what's even funny? Before we continue, that 2002 World Cup in the qualifiers, Brazil almost didn't qualify to that World Cup. Do you know that they struggled without R9? They were losing to Bolivia, Paraguay. So that's when he came. That it just added the boost. And you said that like that squad is one of the most talented. Yes, it is. That squad didn't even almost make it to that World Cup.
Yeah.
So maybe he would have got more goals in that time as well.
You don't know, and I mean, I think this is the negative for me that comes against R9 is that like a lot of it is like it's potential. It's like with CR7 you have the facts because you have his career in front of you. With CR9, he could have potentially been better. He could potentially have done this. He could potentially have that, but X, Y, and Z, unfortunately. Shout out to Matthew Banzet. Say evening all. Thank you for joining in the chat. Big up everyone on the show and in the chat. Thanking you. Evening, Matthew. Everyone's saying evening. Thank you, guys. This is a bit of an earlier show because Mike has his members hang. So if you're a member of Michael's channel, he'll be doing his members hangout from 8 o'clock to about half an hour now. So we're going to try and keep this brief. So make sure that you head over there. So let's quickly go to the third.
Wait, I get this one right. The ability.
What do you think, chat?
Ardius, you have to make an executive decision.
What do you think, chat? Do you think that R9 has better ability than CR7? So I will. I can concede this point on natural like talent, but it's difficult because, as you rightly said, Ronaldo had to work for his ability. You know, so is that not more? That's the thing. I think. Okay, this is just me, but in my opinion, even though I do think that Ronaldo had more natural talent than CR7, the very fact that CR7 had to work to get to that level, for me, is more admirable, and then to maintain that at a consistent level is more admirable than someone who's like got it naturally, but fails to necessarily utilize it in a consistent way.
Yeah. But this is just ability. It's not about consistency or anything like that. This is ability, and R9 had this is pure ability, and R9 had that.
So I mean, Chainsaw says CR7 wins. I believe in democracy. It doesn't. Is there anyone else in the chat and the chainsaw that thinks that CR7 had more ability than no. Okay, I put my hands up because we have to move on. I'll put my hands up to R9 in this. So R9 wins the ability round. So let's move on. Let's move on to this is going to be interesting talk. Trophies. Let's move on to trophies because in fact I started first. So Mike, go for it. Why trophies? What's
Okay, are we talking about individual as well?
No, we're talking about domestic and international combined.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you count the Ballon d'Or.
I count the Ballon d'Ors because he's won
count
2.
The Ballon d'Or. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
So
I think
we can include the Ballon d'Or.
I want to say 2. Chat can let me know. I think he won
Yep.
2, 97 and 2002, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to win this debate. I'm just going to say this right here. The only thing I have for R9, 2 World Cups. You see that? He was a part of 2 of those 5 stars. And he carried Brazil in 2002 with that fantastic squad, but he was there. Club-wise, I mean, okay, he won, I think, 3 trophies at Barcelona. I want to say he won the Eredivisie with PSV, and I think he won... I want to say he won the Dutch Cup with them. Okay, Inter... I gotta say, Inter were supposed to be winning Scudettos at that time. They didn't win a Scudetto. They won the UEFA Cup. I think it was 2002 Serie A final day. I think it was 3 teams heading into the final match, and Inter were first place heading into the final match day, and they lost, and Juventus won. That could have really cemented his, somewhat good legacy at Inter. And then Real Madrid, yes, he won some leagues, but Champions League, I mean... They were supposed to be winning Champions Leagues. They spent all that money on the Galacticos, and it didn't go. And it didn't go well. It didn't go well. But AC Milan, nothing. And then Corinthians and that I can't remember. I don't want to remember. The guy just was. He didn't look like R9. I don't know what he looked like. I don't want to say it, but he didn't look like it. World Cup 2 World Cups, 2 Copa Americas. And wasn't just a passenger. Okay, 94 World Cup, he was a passenger, 17 years old. I mean, look, the only guy who at 17 was having a massive impact on his team at a World Cup was Pele. But that's Pele. But, look, 3 World Cup finals, 2 Copa Americas. CR7 gets this, but I just want to give some shout out because 2 World Cups for a player is unbelievable. We need to know how many players in football history have done that. I want to know because not a lot of players.
How many players have won 2 World Cups?
Yeah,
that's a good question.
And is it only just Brazilians?
I have a feeling there'll be some. Zidane?
No, just one because they won in '98. He was supposed to win 2006, but he didn't.
I didn't. Yes. Okay.
It must be from the 58 and 60. 6 when it comes. No, not 66. Did they win 62? I think they won 62 Brazil. I cannot remember. Yeah. But yeah, those. I mean, there's not a lot of players in history that have won 2 World Cups, and
no.
But look,
that's true.
I'm just gonna put this out there. CR7 wins this by far, by far. All the Champions Leagues, all the La Ligas, Premier Leagues.
I can see it already. You can see it.
I can see it already. I can see it already. All I got is 2 World Cups. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, what can you say about CR7, man? With the amount of, and again, I guess it comes to his longevity as a footballer. He won the Champions League with Manchester United. It was his first Champions League against Chelsea. He won a good. How many did he win? He won 4. Yeah, 3 with Zidane, 1 with Ancelotti. Yes. So 4. Yes. So 4.
And then obviously with Sir Alex.
Sir Alex Ferguson. So 4 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid, 1 Champions League with Manchester United. So 5 Champions Leagues, to which he played a crucial. I mean, some of those. That bicycle. I mean, it was. I know it wasn't, but that bicycle kick against Juve was.
I think that's athletically the greatest football goal ever. Athletically.
It was. My only rival for that is was Bale's goal against Liverpool, also just a sort of
but just it's like the hang time that Ronaldo had on that goal.
Exactly,
I mean, just slow mo.
Exactly.
That was ridiculous.
I'm not gonna lie. This is an aside. I still think my favorite goal so of all time is still Zlatan's goals against England in that friendly.
Oh yeah, the bicycle
when he
kick.
did that, just because of where it was and how like Joe Hart trying to run back and he's like out of the box.
And I want to say it was what was his name? It was the Everton defender, Phil Jagielka. He was trying to clear it off the line, and he just and that was the opening game of that new stadium as well. So it was just momentous.
Exactly. It was that. So I'll say that that's the best. Like as much as I love Ronaldo,
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that one.
England, because everyone's just like, and it's more because England fans watching him like literally just like, what the hell just happened?
Four goals. That was the fourth goal in that game for him as well.
Exactly. It's like, did he just do that? Like, it's like Zlatan is a maverick. He's a true maverick. So I respect the guy. But CR7 trophy wise, Premier Leagues. He was part of the treble that Sir Alex Ferguson won, the 3 back-to-back openings and then some. Real Madrid. I think he only won the La Liga twice. I think, if I recall.
Yeah, I think so.
So actually, you could make an argument that he actually underperformed. Not that it was solely his fault, but that considering the fact that Eden Hazard, dare I say, Eden Hazard has 2 La Ligas. No, he only has 1.
No, he has 1.
Because when Zidane bought him, they didn't win the Liga, did they?
He joined 1920. Did Barcelona win? I think the Barcelona.
Please tell me, chat, that. Please tell me, chat. If the chat are going to tell me that Eden Hazard has got 2 La Liga titles and a Champions League by doing absolutely nothing, I just no. Please don't tell me to go 1-on-1. I can accept. So if someone is going to tell me that Hazard has the same amount of league titles at Star 7 doing absolutely nothing, SS says Hazard has 2 Liga titles, same as Ronaldo.
Oh, so they didn't win in 1920. Yeah,
1920 and 2021.
Wow. But he don't have 4 Champions Leagues, so
he doesn't. But still, man, that's bad. That's I can't accept that. So that I think that comes against Ronaldo, to be honest. Internationally, CR7 has done better individually.
I mean, did he win that final?
And also, did he didn't even I must confess, like, see the fact that CR7, even Messi, have not actually scored in a knockout competition in the World Cup is kind of that's a bit it's delightful. But I will give Ronaldo's hat trick against Spain. That was
Oh yeah, nice. That was ridiculous.
Why
De Gea was a brick in that game.
He was, and that's why it's not the starting Spanish keeper. Even though the Spanish keeper right now is questionable in my opinion. Yeah. Why is the debate Arna is the best player ever, along with Messi and Madonna? Well, fair enough. Well, that's why we're having a conversation. Zlatan bicycle goal versus England is better. I mean, I actually do agree. I do think that goal in Bale versus Liverpool, those are good goals.
Yeah.
That Zlatan goal was Gerrard's 100th game, I think.
Oh God.
Yeah. Is that you, Chainsaw, saying that as a dig to Gerrard? I'm not entirely sure. Was that a dig?
I think that's just a remembering about that game.
How are you, 40-year-old and CR7 fan boy? I'm not. I don't understand. This guy's a hate. First of all, I'm not 40 years old. Second of all, this I don't know what. This is the thing about some of these guys. They have such hatred towards players.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's such hatred. Like, it's like, what did Ronaldo do to you? Like, we're having a friendly discussion, and you're like, oh my God, you can't say Ronaldo is good at anything. He's trash. It's just like, that's why I avoid looking at Fabrizio Romano's. If you look at his Twitter feed,
oh my God,
anytime he tweets something, you look at it and you're like, Ronaldo, Pessi. You're like, guys, do you not have anything better to do than just tweet your hatred towards one particular player? It doesn't make sense. But anyway, does a World Cup wipe out a lot of CR7's trophies? It is the number 1 trophy. Jimmy, back me on that. If not for the fact that CR7 obviously has a fair amount of Ballon d'Ors, I do think you can make the argument that a World Cup, so he has 5 CLs. So let's say 1 World Cup equals 2 CLs.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
Let's say that. So in that sense, yeah, I think 2 World Cups is equivalent to 4 CLs, given how long, like it takes to get them. And he did one. How many Copa Americas did R9 win?
I think 2, 95 and
Yeah,
99. I want to say,
right.
yeah.
And obviously Ronaldo won his thing with the Euros with the with Portugal. I mean, I'm not going to count Nations League, but I'm not that sad, you know.
Are you counting all the goals against Luxembourg, Latvia,
No,
San Marino,
no,
Andorra?
no. I mean, like internationally, it's you can definitely. I think the only argument around internationally is just it's just the fact that like the teams that R9 was in were insane.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
difference. Like, there's no so.
But then RDS, what happened in 2004 Euros final? Portugal should have won that game.
Well, against Greece, yeah. I mean, it's just
That's on home soil. He
yes,
was
yeah,
the star boy,
yeah.
and they laid a brick in the final.
They should have done that because Greece just defended for their lives, basically. So
Shout out to them though.
They
They got
yeah.
more Euros than England.
That absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hazard is a quality player, to be
Oh yeah,
honest. Yeah, he's good. He's good.
He was.
He
That's
was
the
a
thing.
quality player. It's just that he doesn't deserve 2 Liga titles. That's all. Anyway, let me quickly move on because you've got a
Oh, 14
to do.
minutes.
So let me look. We've got two subjects. Yeah. So lastly, So for penultimate, adaptability. So that is how did that particular player, because obviously Ronaldo he played for United, he played for Madrid under multiple different coaches, he played for Juve, and he's probably played for United again now. So R9, Barca, Madrid, Inter, AC, etc. How adaptable do you think R9 was? Because I would make the argument that I think that CR7 was more adaptable in his game than R9 was. Even though R9 I think has more talent, I think that CR7, especially given the fact that he was a winger and then he was made into a forward,
Yeah.
and the fact that he has performed in different systems, whether your Mourinho system or your Zidane system, or your Sir Alex Ferguson, style, and he's performed to the highest level in those different systems, as well as playing as a wing and then playing as a forward. Being defensive sometimes.
But did he have to switch to a lot of different managers and tactics throughout his whole career?
I would say that Mourinho.
Because he had Sir Alex, Mourinho,
Mourinho,
Ancelotti, Zidane, and then the horrid time at Juventus where he had 3 different managers in God knows 3 years.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I would say that like Mourinho's tactics are completely different to Sir Alex Ferguson's, for example, like in terms of systems, in terms of how they wanted to play. And I guess Ancelotti and Mourinho are somewhat similar in a style. Ancelotti's maybe not as defensive, but it's there. Zidane, I definitely think is different compared to say a Mourinho and Ancelotti, definitely. And yeah, the Juventus managers. I mean, he played under Sarri. Yeah,
Allegri, Pirlo,
and Pirlo, and under Sarri, he still was the highest scorer at Juve.
Yep.
Under Sarri ball. So I mean, the adaptability is there.
Yeah, I would say that for CR7, but
what about CR9? Do you think that CR9 had that in his arsenal though?
I think he did, because if you look at his, I'm gonna keep going with his younger career, is that he went to PSV, had to adapt there for a season. Then he went to, I think it was Sir Bobby Robson, who was manager of Barcelona at the time, had to adapt to him, and he just fit in like a glove immediately at Barcelona. He had an exceptional season. Then he went to Inter, and I think in his 5 seasons at Inter, he had 4 different or 6 different managers, including Roy Hodgson, by the way, who was a couple months at Inter. So, and then obviously at Real Madrid and then AC Milan. But look, because I was thinking about more adaptability when it comes to tactics and this sort of stuff, and
Okay.
I cannot say with confidence like, oh, this manager at Inter played this style and Sir Bobby Robson. So it's a bit difficult for me to give like a full 100% answer on this one, but I would say R9, just based on the talent he has and watching him play, I feel like he could have played in a team that sat back, and he could be the one starting the counterattack with this hold up play and the way he could just dribble out of spaces, or he could be the link up play. He could play in tiki taka. Can you imagine if a prime R9 was playing at Barcelona in 08-09? He would be unstoppable because his link up play was amazing, and he could just shoot with his right foot, left foot. I feel like maybe he could have played out wide as well, just because of the explosiveness he had. And maybe like in modern day football, he would have been a winger. I think that's what he would have been. He would have been a winger where he's able to just dribble one-on-one situations, take on defenders. So, yeah, this one is a bit hard to say because I think you kind of have to see tactically how the teams played with R9 and Inter and obviously what was I thinking? Barcelona. So,
I mean, I think it's I agree with attack. I think it's more just the fact that like, I guess I saw it as like how they done as an individual. So, for example, even though R9 had his injuries, I mean, a part of it is obviously him not particularly taking care of himself.
Yeah.
But you have certain players where they can't play that particular position. Let's say they're a winger, they can't play that particular position anymore, so they become a right back, or they come into midfield or whatever. Like they adapt their game to suit the needs of the team. Is what I'm saying. So, and I just think that with CR7, I think CR7 has been able to do that more. Maybe not in the last 3 years, possibly. But I just think overall in his career, he's been able to do that. Whereas I think with R9, it was like as soon as his pace went, it was like, right, okay, so how do I kind of like fit?
I think when he was at Real Madrid, he would come deeper to receive the ball. I think he would want to be more of a link-up player instead of like he would. I think in his younger days he would drift out wide, and then obviously the players would find him there. But I think at Real Madrid and I think the later career at Inter, he much more came deeper to receive the ball, and I think he wanted to start the attack. Whereas I think he was more the vocal point in his younger days. But then as he grew and grew, I mean, I still remember that hat trick he scored at Old Trafford, and he got a standing ovation. A standing ovation at Old Trafford. That I don't think that ever happens. And then I think it was the third goal where he scored.
CR7's standing ovation at Juve.
Yeah.
Scored that, but go on.
I think because it was third goal, he received the ball deep, and then he just dribbled, and then it was a 30-yard bomb into the top right corner. And look, so I would say he was adaptable, but was it because he wanted to, or was it because he just didn't keep himself fit? I think it was more the latter, that he didn't keep himself fit in this sense. So I would say that I have to concede that CR7 gets this one.
Fair enough. Chainsaw, when someone says Pinaldo, you should ignore them, to be honest.
Yep.
I mean, to be honest, like I said, I might be different on certain other channels. No, okay, I'll tell you something.
Me too.
The only reason why I was actually going at Messi this season, because I never go at Messi before, it's not because of him, but simply because people disrespected Liga in the beginning of the season because they said he was going to go there and just destroy it all.
Yep.
They said, right, he's amazing in Liga, he's in La Liga, he does this and this and this. Now all he needs to do is he'll go to Liga and he'll have Mbappe, he'll have Messi, he'll have a much better team, and he'll just pop off and destroy Liga and perform well in the Champions League. And those things didn't happen. So I was like, of course I'm gonna laugh. What do you expect? You guys gassed him up that he was gonna do it and it didn't happen. So because it's more than just one individual player that obviously goes and you need it's the manager, it's additional players, that's. But other than that, I've got respect for the guy, so don't worry about that. Going on the basis of waiting for how long it takes to get a World Cup, is it 4 years? So would it be 4 UCLs? I
mean, UCLs are hard to win, Eddie.
That's the thing. Yeah, UCLs are also very hard to win. So it's The only reason I will make the equivalent to 2 is because one, UCLs are hard to win, and two, I still have to take into account the context which the team that you're playing is in, because it's almost like I said to some people, like I rate what Bale did with Wales in the Euros to get to semi-final, like over Argentina, Argentina's Copa, for example. Because even though Argentina won the Copa, yeah, it's great, it's fine, it's okay, it's cool, but was it the same degree of difficulty as you're getting Wales through qualification to the Euros single-handedly and then going all the way to the semi-finals? I don't think so. I think the difficulty is harder. So even though one isn't a trophy, I think in terms of degree of difficulty and significance, that one will be over the Copa America trophy that C won. So, So MC's big up Red Devils 2 in Japan. Thank you, man. Head up the Manchester United agenda. Really, really good brothers out there, man. I definitely need to come on your show, guys, at some point. I've just got a lot of shows and been busy going on, so I'm sorry. Things are going to be easier, I think, when the season starts. That's what I think. Let's go into the last one. Literally 5 minutes before you go.
Nah, you're good. You're good.
So that is the last one, and that is legacy. And chat, I'm interested to see what you think about that. I'll let you go first, Michael. R9's legacy. What is it? Can you defend it? What is it?
Well, this is kind of like, I guess, similar to Impact in a way where, Impact is more on the game, whereas legacy is what do we think about his career overall. Honestly, his legacy is the biggest what if, in my opinion. I genuinely do think so. If he did not get in, and obviously it's ifs and buts, and we don't know. Maybe he could have been lazy like most Brazilian players get after 30, but the guy was just special. It really is what could have been for R9 if he didn't get that injury. Because that is a horrible injury. CR7 has never had, like, I would say, a horrible injury like that. That is like 18 months without football. You think your motivation is good after that? You're going to have to be strong mentally to get over that. Physically, yes, I mean, he did come a little bit chubbier, but, 18 months out of football where maybe 10 months he was just laying down on the bed and just chilling because he couldn't do anything because his kneecap was completely gone. So, then that's, I think, his legacy. I think his legacy in the World Cup is no doubt. I think he's one of the greatest ever World Cup players, and nobody can dispute that. Top 3, and if you want to chat to me. He is a top 3 World Cup player ever. 98, he showed up. 2002, he definitely showed up. And 2006, okay, and still not great, but he scored against Ghana in round of 16. That's all he's got, pretty much. But honestly, it's the biggest what if. And that's, I think, his legacy, and it's a shame we will never know. Because he could have broken Pele's record. He could have scored maybe 600 to 700 career goals with the pace he was going at, especially at PSV and Barcelona. It's the biggest what if. I think that's his legacy, and people will keep talking about, oh my God, this guy was talented. He was talented, but let's see what the talent could have been. And I hate. Last one thing. I hate when people say fat Ronaldo. Yes, I get it. The guy did not keep care of his body and this sort of stuff. But I mean, look at Hazard. Some of these players, they reach to a certain level at football, right? And maybe they're just comfortable with it. They say, "Look at what I've done in my career. I've done some exceptional things. What else do I need to prove to the world?" And maybe that's what R9 was thinking. And it's just Brazilians. They want to enjoy life. They want to party. And this sort of stuff. It's just... I hate when people say fat Ronaldo. Yes, I know he was fat and this sort of stuff. But the guy was an absolute baller. He kind of brought futsal to the pitch. Him and Ronaldinho did that. Some of the moves, the elastic goal, the step overs, the feints, that's what you do in futsal in close space. He brought that to the pitch, so yeah, I think that's his legacy, is the biggest what if.
I mean, and that's the thing with R9. It is just like what could have happened. What could have happened if he hadn't got the injury, he'd taken himself, and obviously maybe if he had been born later, when sports science have been more progressive and what have you. You've got physios, you've got everyone taking care of your diet regime, all the rest of it. What could have happened? Chainsaw does say Pele, Messi, and Zidane over him at World Cups.
Messi. I'm sorry. Does Messi have a World Cup knockout stage goal? Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go then.
We can't take Messi as none. And so unfortunate, does R9 have a son to pass his genes on to?
In primary school,
in fact, Ronaldo because of CR7, right? Okay,
yeah.
had to make a comparison with him. I just think that like in respect to R9, I agree with you in that he was one of the last flair football players that, as you said, brought that flair, that style to football.
Yeah.
Something that we don't really see that much in our kind of system age. And aside from the fact that Christian Eriksen has come, I think that's probably the only thing I think that for me that surpasses what Ronaldo did. Just literally dying and coming back to life and then playing football again. But I agree with you. To have that determination, being 18 and then to come back and to achieve what you went on to achieve, you got to give it to R9. But CR7 is just. I mean, CR7, is, if we're talking about legacy, is a global icon. Almost on the level of LeBron James, MJ, that type of thing. Like he is, because of his consistency over 2 decades, he has built a name for himself. So much so that people not because they've forgotten about R9, but as you said, it's like R9 because of how influential this is. Like, there's not been, I mean, even the whole fanboy thing, CR7, Messi, all that sort of stuff like that. It's like, whoa, bro, you just see how much his and some of that is obviously the social media age, marketing, etc. Yeah. Something that R9 didn't. I'm sure if R9 played when he played now, it would almost be like Neymar-esque in terms of the amount of advertisement that he'd be getting. But I mean, his time at Manchester United, his time at Madrid, he kind of, I mean, to be honest, I think before Ronaldo and to certain extent before R9, I don't think people were that interested in being like wingers, outright wingers, really. Wingers, inside forwards, that area of the pitch was really so. And even up until this point now, I still think wingers and inside forwards are kind of like in trend, are the vogue type of position. And I think a lot of that does come down to Cristiano Ronaldo and how he played, and the fact that he's still playing as well. I don't actually know when Cristiano Ronaldo is going to retire from football. I don't actually know.
2-3 years. I think.
No.
It depends how I think he will play at the next Euros. I can guarantee you that he is going. I think that will be his.
Well, this is the thing. Bale is playing at the Bale is every manager will want Ronaldo in their team. Yeah. Bale, is playing in the MLS and he's going to be the US playing for Wales. And even I think even his interview said and potentially even the he said he was playing in the World Cup, obviously, and then even potentially the Euros 2 years later. So I think that playing internationally is not a problem because he just needs to find a club to keep himself fit. And if he stays at United this season, it might be that next season, if he doesn't get picked up by a club in Europe, that he ends up going to the MLS, for example.
I think that's definitely what's going to happen. If he stays at United, he's going to MLS. No doubt about that.
Yeah. I can't think of any. It's obvious that a lot of teams do not want him specifically. Although, again, obviously, that things may change depending on Champions League football, etc., where teams are, and so forth and so forth. So, maybe like Inter or Roma might potentially be interested, or along those lines. Maybe Bayern might be desperate. I'd have no idea, but and that's kind of what I mean. Is that CR7 already has a legacy, but his legacy is almost will be, even though goes to the MLS. Think of how, even at 40, how big the MLS could potentially be, or the leaps it would go if Ronaldo ends up playing in the MLS. If that makes any sense,
Yeah.
It's. I just think with R9, it's about what if, but with CR7, it's about what is.
Yeah, I mean, you put it perfectly.
That's it.
I have what else? What else can I say? I just because Chainsaw says the R9 is the constant mention of potential. I mean, look, because that's all we can talk about. I mean, all he can talk about is his brilliant season with Barcelona. His first season at Inter was fantastic when he won the Ballon d'Or. You know what they should do, by the way, RDS? They should do the Ballon d'Or presentations in the stadium. That's what they did back in the day. That's what they need to do instead of this stupid ceremony, but it's all about money, and we know about that.
It is. Yes,
and then it's about 2002 World Cup. The mere fact he came back after the worst injury, one of the worst injuries in football.
Yeah.
How the heck do you rupture your kneecap? I'm just trying to understand that. Like, his kneecap was in his upper thigh. I have broken my knee. I could never imagine finding my kneecap in my thigh. And then he came back, adversity, came a little bit more chubbier, came with the haircut because he didn't want to have the distraction. He said this, I think, post the World Cup. He said, I got that stupid haircut so that nobody would talk about my injuries. Everybody would be talking about the haircut. Well, it proved to be a smooth operator, as they would say in Formula One, and the guy was money for that 2002 World Cup. Yes, maybe he didn't have the explosiveness, but he had that natural striker ability to just be there at the right time, and that's his legacy. That's why I love R9. I wish I could have seen him play when he was at Barcelona. Just seeing the explosiveness and the sort of goals he scored, and that goal he scored against Lazio where he dribbled past everybody and then made the goalkeeper look dummy. One of the best final goals.
I remember that. Jeez, man. It was definitely something. Guys, I mean, like, let me know who you think won, Ronaldo or Ronaldo, R9 or CR7. Let me know in the comments and comment below, guys, because I think this has been a fantastic, and this is why I like these debates. It's like they're more like discussions as opposed to generally getting to the bottom of who is better or who is worse, because at the end of the day, both footballers have brought about something very, very significant to the game of football and should be respected. So I will always leave up to you guys in the chat personally who you actually think is the better footballer, or who left the greater legacy, or who has the greatest ability. Let me know in the comments, and remember to like the video. Now, as before we end, Mike, I want you to shout out your channel. Where can they find you? What are you going to be doing? What are your plans?
Big up to Eddie as well. He said I rocked the R9.
Yeah, I rocked the Oh man, jeez. Eddie, try doing that now. Try doing that today. I dare you, Eddie.
Imagine if I rocked up like that one day. Oh my god.
You should do it for the World Cup. You should do it for the
Never. But yeah,
I love R9 in one of your videos when you're previewing Brazil. You know,
then I just have that haircut on the thumbnail all the time.
Exactly. Would you do it if Brazil got to the World Cup final? Would you do it?
No, I don't care. If Finland made it to the World Cup, I would do it. That's the no.
Okay.
No.
I heard that. I heard that clip.
RDS, here, listen to this.
Okay.
If USA make it to the World Cup final, I will rock that haircut for the final.
If USA do it.
If they make it to the World Cup final, I will wear that haircut World Cup final day.
I will rock the haircut if Nigeria make it to the World Cup final. That's my like if Nigeria.
I thought you were gonna say if they qualify to the World Cup at first. Shout out to the Super Eagles.
Shout out to him, man.
All right. But yeah, you can find me on Michael Talks Football YouTube channel. Gonna go on holiday tomorrow into the deep Finnish forest. Gonna chill out, relax, go into the sauna, chill by the lake, and then be back with more transfer videos. And then it's RDS, the season's coming up. Gotta start doing previews. Gotta do a preview for the Bundesliga. Gotta do a preview for the Premier League. Can't wait, and hopefully have a good season. And also you can find me on Twitter, Talks_Michael. And RDS, as always, thanks for having me on. Great debate, and I think we gotta do another one of these on 2 different players. We gotta find players to talk about. Definitely,
bro. Make sure you head over to Mike's channel. It's awesome, amazing content. Please go and support Mike Talks Football. He's got a great membership program as well. So please head over. We always love supporting each other as well, you know. So yeah, guys, please head over and see what Mike's about. Guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter and to X. Smash the notification button because I know the notification ones have been a bit funny for some people here. Have a nice day, everyone, and cheers.